It's the Iron Bowl with a college football playoff berth and possible SEC championship berth on the line. What could be better? Let's break it down. Welcome to Crain and Company. One of the biggest and greatest rivalries in all of sports, the planet, and the universe. It's the Iron Bowl. And regardless of the record, it does not matter. It's the most important game of the year for the state of Alabama. Alabama is going to Auburn. And fellas, David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, also knows about big-time rivalries. Blaine Crain, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver, grew up in the 3-3-4, so he knows what's up too. You know, there was many years in a row where there was so much on the line for both teams in this game. There's obviously a ton more on the line for Alabama. Everything is on the line for Alabama because a 9-3 Alabama does not get in the SEC championship. A 9-3 Alabama does not make the college football playoff. This is a win and you're in, really, I think, the SEC and the college football playoff after we did our tiebreakers when you look at it. And there is nothing more that the opposite side, whether that be Alabama or Auburn, the team that doesn't have a lot on the line outside of pride, would love to do more than to ruin the high hopes of the other side. And that's what Auburn has a chance to do. This game is at 6:30 at night in Jordan-Hare. Cohn, I want to go to you first. I mean, this is setting up to, we know the environment that will be there. Even with interim coach DJ Durkin, it's going to be a nuts environment. It is going to be packed out. The hate will be at an all-time high. But do you believe that Auburn can actually win a game with the culture they have right now in the big moments? That's what I keep coming back to.
You know, the greatest rivalries don't need any extra added stakes to be the biggest game of the year. But the fact that we're getting an edition of the Iron Bowl where Auburn could keep Alabama out of the college football playoff for the second straight year since Nick Saban retired, that is awesome. Now, I hope we get back to an edition of this game where both teams are playing to get in the college football playoff or to get into the SEC championship game. Obviously, Auburn not there right now and has moved on from yet another coach and hasn't won this rivalry since 2019. That's hard to believe. But when they did win it in 2019, 48-45, I believe, was in Jordan-Hare. And since then, we've seen a 4th and 31 gravedigger play. We've seen some close but not quite type games. To answer your question, I don't know if Auburn has what it takes to actually put this Alabama team away, especially an Alabama team that's on the ropes and not only needs this win to get in the college football playoff. Alabama wins this game, they go to the SEC championship game. So I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Does Auburn have what it takes to not get close, but to actually beat this Alabama team?
I think they have the personnel to do it. I just don't know if they have the mentality to do it. And again, it's not a knock on anybody as a human being because you're not measured as a human being by how good you are at a sport. It's about how you treat other people, how you are as a father, how you are as a husband. I have just watched the culture at Auburn fold in the biggest moments, whether that be on offense, whether that be needing to get a stop on defense at points in the year, which the defense has been really good. But if you go back and look at instances when they had a chance to get one more stop and win a game, they haven't been able to do it yet. I just think the culture at Auburn gets worried when the game gets tight late. And I hate it for the fans because the fans show out every single time, but the fans are not the ones on that field. The fans will not throw a ball. The fans will not catch a ball. The fans will not make a tackle. And even though Alabama has stumbled somewhat, especially offensively here the last couple games, you know what I have seen Alabama and Ty Simpson do? Make big plays in big moments. So Auburn has players that are good enough to win. I think the scheme will be good enough to win. But I think the biggest problem Auburn has, Blaine, is the mentality turns to pudding when it matters the most. I don't think they think they're going to make the play. I don't think they have guys that say, run it at me. I don't think they have guys that say, give me the ball when it matters the most. That's when Auburn's players have gone and hit.
Well, I think they have some guys. I don't think they have.
And again,
I don't think they have enough guys.
Enough.
Right?
That's what
I promise you, there's a guy running around on Auburn's offense who's like, throw me the damn ball every play. And that's
100%. But in football, it can't just be one guy. It's got to be a majority. That's what
you
culture
need at least
is.
two, right? I mean, if you have Cam Newton and Nick Fairley, you probably can get it done.
That's but again, I hope I'm wrong.
But this game opened at minus. This game will be at Auburn. Okay, this game opened at -5.5. We kind of got these spreads from the future, you would say, with an over-under total sitting at 44.5. I don't know if the total feels right to me, to be honest. I think there'd probably be more points in this football game. The way I look at it as this, is Alabama the better football team? You could say yes, right? Do they have a better roster? Yes.
I don't know if it's by like a wide margin.
No. But I think you can sit here and say yes. I mean, Kelly DeBoer, has done a pretty damn good coaching job this year. It has felt like they've regressed lately, and you did the worst thing you could ever do when it comes to this rivalry. You gave Auburn hope.
Yeah.
And you gave Auburn an opportunity to do something to you detrimental. And I promise you, if you could ever latch onto something as a football player against your rival, it's about crushing their dreams. Right? Not only winning the game, but crushing your dreams afterwards. And now guess what, buddy? You're going to sit your ass right here next to me when the playoffs are on, and we'll watch it together. I think it's going to be a hell of a football game. If it's Auburn, I don't think you need this game to turn into a shootout. Right? I don't think it needs to be like Vanderbilt.
No.
You're not going to win that football game. I think they have a lot better guys, especially at the quarterback position. You need this game to be somewhat low scoring, right? You need to limit possessions on the other side, and you can't beat yourself with penalties and turnovers. Like, you have to play a clean game to beat this. And look, I'll say it again. You got to make Alabama run the ball. They're not great at it. You got to take it out of Ty Simpson's hand. It's going to be interesting. Iron Bowl always is. But this game is historically close.
Yeah.
Historically close.
Yeah, and Cone, you playing the quarterback position at a high level at a place like Michigan and knowing the importance of the biggest rivalry when you have the game, which is another one we'll be previewing, obviously, here right after this weekend gets done. And I think Alabama fans will agree with me in the comments. I would love to know from Alabama fans they agree with me here, because I think, there's only a few things Alabama and Auburn fans can agree on. But when you have a new quarterback, and I'll say the same thing about Ashton Daniels for Auburn, you can play this whole season. But as a new guy, if you have not played in the Iron Bowl before, it's hard for me to know how you're going to play, because it is a totally different environment. Ty Simpson knows he may be from Tennessee, but he knows what this game means. Ashton Daniels may have went out and gone to Stanford, but he knows what this game means. And there's more pressure, I think, in this game than them playing number 3 Georgia on the road. But I've watched Ty make some big-time plays. But here's the thing, Cone, we don't know until we know when you play in this game. So, like, what solace should Auburn fans take in that maybe we don't?
Well, look, it's one of the coolest environments in college football, and I can say that having been there multiple times. It is awesome. It is a spectacle. I haven't been there for the Iron Bowl. I can't even imagine what it's like on that game day and at night. And obviously, a lot of what we're talking about here is barring any significant injuries for Alabama against Eastern Illinois, and Auburn's going to have Mercer. But I expect both those teams to take care of business and for us to have an edition of the Iron Bowl like we're talking about. And you said Auburn needs to force Alabama to run the ball. I don't know if that's true. Maybe it's true. I mean, I've seen Alabama win when they haven't run the ball well. I've seen them win when other teams put up more yardage. I've seen them win when other teams are better on third down. I've seen them win when other teams win the time of possession. And even though Alabama has sort of a high-flying passing offense, they've been really good at winning time of possession, but they don't need to. It's all about turnovers. And we said it for the last couple weeks. No team has forced the issue and won the turnover battle. They've gotten Ty Simpson to fumble occasionally, and they've gotten Alabama to turn it over, but then the other team will turn it over as well. Oklahoma finally said, no, not us. They forced 3 turnovers. They didn't commit any of themselves. They only scored 1 offensive touchdown, guys. I mean, look at this blueprint that Oklahoma beat Alabama with. You're going to tell me Auburn couldn't follow a similar blueprint with that defense and what Ashton Daniels, who I think is going to be the guy at quarterback for this game, they scored 1 offensive touchdown, got the pick 6, and then they kicked 3 field goals. And that's how they beat them. And the schemes, it was all about showing Ty Simpson something pre-snap and then getting to something different post-snap. How often can Auburn do that on defense without shooting themselves in the foot? It's all well and good to say, hey, let's show them cover 1 and then go to cover 3 and buzz down to the flat, unless you make a mistake too. Can they do that and then let that home field advantage build for 4 quarters and win a close one?
You guys have heard of that new bearskin? Oh, Blaine, you're wearing it.
Oh, have I?
Yes.
Keep it on me 24/7.
Feel good?
Feels fantastic.
24/7 is kind of weird.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. It is kind of weird.
Why is a giant talking?
Have you seen his bearskin? It's like 3 bears put together.
Yeah, I know.
It's skin like
Killed him with his
staple them together.
I'm the Revenant.
Look, you need to go ahead and lock in your winter gear now, guys. It's winter, all right? You'll get fast free shipping, you'll get fast delivery, and you've locked in your winter gear already. That's a win-win. So if you text the word Crain, that's CRAIN, to 36912, you'll get 60% off 100% of the Bearskin hoodie. And you'll get a link sent straight to your phone so you can check it out later. You're busy right now. So don't wait until you're freezing to realize your hoodie sucks. Get that Bearskin right now while it's 60% off. Text Crain to 36912. Look, at the end of the day, you want to be warm, you want to look good, you want to feel good.
Yep.
All right, and it zips into the heavy rainstorm jacket too. It's a transformer.
If you hunt,
it's a transformer, but not a Decepticon.
You're really cold.
Bearskin, Crain, 36912. I want to get into the schematics and kind of the style of how we think this game is going to go or how we would approach it. You know, last week, Derek Nix, the Auburn offensive coordinator, called plays for the first time, and what did Auburn do differently? They started going up-tempo. So the cat is out of the bag there. I think Auburn is obviously going to try and replicate a lot of the things that they did against Vandy, against Alabama. You know, obviously spreading the ball around, getting Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton Jr. involved, trying to be balanced. The tempo is not going to surprise Alabama, but I still think you need to do it. I think this is a better offense when they are going up tempo.
Okay.
And I think Ashton Daniels handled that pretty well. When you go up tempo, and some people may say this could actually help Alabama defensively, because I think Crain has simplified things on the defensive side for Alabama. You're not seeing nearly the pre-snap movement, the mug stuff that you bring up all the time at linebacker, the amount of that as you were earlier in the year. They've simplified it, and they've let their athletes play. Well, when you go up-tempo, it's hard as a defense when you're facing an up-tempo offense to get calls in that are complex stuff, because you're just trying to get the call in. You're trying to make sure the call gets communicated because they're about to get up there and snap the ball. So a lot of it is base stuff with adjustments, base stuff with tags, not, hey, we're going to show this and do this, or you line up here, or we're going to do this later, we're going to bring you late from here. A lot of it is base stuff. So at worst, if you're Auburn, you're not going to allow Alabama to get into their bag of tricks. But on the other side, Bama not getting into their bag of tricks has been probably the best thing that's happened in this defense. They've been playing better since it's been simplified. So I'm interested to see that. You know, the type of offense you're going to get from Auburn. But I just wonder, you know, defensively, Blaine, if you're Alabama, looking at Cam Coleman, you know there's going to be shots down the field. Are you going to bracket Cam Coleman? Because bracketing both sides is not going to work. You can't live that way and do that.
If you double bracket, good luck.
You double bracket, everybody better play their ass off other than those guys.
Solo guys, good luck.
So they're probably going to bracket Cam deep. They're probably not going to let Cam Coleman deep, which means Auburn's going to attack the weak side of that, not only with the pass, but with the run.
Yeah, it feels like it has to be an Eric Singleton type of game, right? Yeah. And to be honest with you, I think he's somewhat been a letdown this year. Especially Auburn people thought he would have done more. I think maybe more on the quarterback than him. And I will say this, but Auburn needs to get the run game going. They need to get Jeremiah Cobb going. Look, it doesn't have to be phenomenal.
And Ashton Daniels, too.
Sure, Ashton Daniels in the run game. It doesn't have to be phenomenal. You don't need 200 yards on the ground, but Alabama at least needs to know that is a threat, not only from Cobb, but from your quarterback as well. And look, I'm always in the business of how many times can I get my best player the football. Hell, I don't really care if he's double covered that much anyways. In my eyes, that's single coverage, if anything. I'm feeding Cam Coleman. He's a difference maker in this game. Anytime he's soloed, I don't care. Run deep, Cam. We're getting the ball. And they have to get creative. I do think you'll see some trick plays in this game from Auburn, and I do think they need to somehow win the special teams game. In games like this,
literally what I just wrote down
matters so much. Field goals matters so much. A blocked punt or something like that. And Auburn needs something to go right early. This fan base has just been through the wickets with this team this year of winning, being up, and finding ways to lose. They need confidence early. And on the Alabama side, you want to snatch that. Right? You want to go down and score your first 2 drives and say, hey, we're not here to mess around. We're all business, and we're going to take care of this and take that crowd out of it.
You know, I agree with 95% of what you just said. The only difference is Auburn has gotten good stuff early. How about something good happens late? That's been the problem with Auburn. I would rather bad early, great late than great early, bad late. I've watched Auburn should have be up 17-0 on Georgia, piss their pants, get it pulled down in front of Walmart, spanked in front of everybody. I watch them come out against Vandy and look like world beaters. But late in the first half, Vandy goes down, they go up tempo and score. The second half, Vandy's able to just waterfall you on offense. It's the late stuff that Auburn has struggled with. That is what they've got to fix. I want to get to special teams because that's a great point. But first, Cone, I want to ask you about Alabama offensively. When you look at what Vandy did to Auburn, what was the difference that Vandy did? They went up tempo. Right before halftime, when they went 3 plays, when they were going fast and scored, they came out in the second half like, we're going to start going fast. That's not really what Alabama does. Mm-hmm. If you've struggled kind of the way they have on offense, and you got to give a ton of credit to Oklahoma too as well, like defensively for that game. But like Would you sit here and say, well, maybe we need to shake something up? Like maybe we come out and go up tempo the first couple drives, or would you say, no, look, that's not where we come out and do that. The players are going to think, they don't think the way we've been doing it's good enough, and like we're trying to panic and change. That's a real thing.
Well, look, I personally would always want to mix tempos all the time. I would want to be variable tempo. I say that with the luxury of sitting here in a chair and not being an offensive coordinator, and Brian Grubb has made a living doing this. But, I don't know about so much just going tempo early in the game. I think that to offset what you're talking about, which is Auburn needs to deliver at the very end, well, that can only happen if it's close at the end. I do think Alabama needs to get off to a hot start, and that has been something that they've done, particularly with long drives. It hasn't been like these one-hitter quarters.
It hasn't been up tempo.
I go back to Florida State where they played terrible for 3.5 quarters, but what was the half quarter? It was a 17-play drive for 75 yards at the beginning to score, and we all thought, man, here comes Bama again, and then Florida State threw a perfect game after that. What's the longest drive that Alabama has in this game, and how many drives do they have over 10 plays? I'm interested to know that.
Yeah.
I want to get to the special teams that you brought up, because if you look, the way each one of these teams has been trending, and I'll keep it specific to field goals right now, right? Getting points. Punting is obviously huge. It's a big deal. I think Auburn's Australian punter is very, very, very average. But the field goal kicking, now that McPherson has gotten healthier, you've seen that consistent. He's starting to look like a McPherson. Starting to make sense. And then you have what happened with Alabama, with Talty. And again, I coach special teams. I coach the special teams. I coach the specialists. I've coached DBs, all that. Specialists, they're so different. It's such a different room and a different vibe. And if that well gets poisoned, it can cause a lot of problems. So, we look at it possibly coming down to making kicks to either extend a lead or get a lead or to get within one score of a game. I actually feel a little bit more confident in Auburn's field goal kicking right now than Alabama's, which could be a big deal. So the two S's I have, the first is special teams, and the other one is stupidity. Which team's going to be the dumbass? Who's going to do it?
Penalties.
Who's going to hit the guy late? Who's going to blindside a guy on a pick going back to the house? Who's going to hold somebody when they don't need to do it that negates a big play? Who's going to do it? So I don't think you go to this game and neither team does it. And I'm not talking about a face mask when you're hustling your ass off, like just a physical or like a hold at the point of attack that creates a lane that the guy scores. I'm talking about the stupid play. That's what I'm talking about. And Alabama, I think this year's done a good job of not making the stupid play. That who's going to do it?
Kalen DeBoer's Alabama team this year has been a lot more disciplined.
They have.
Than what we've seen. I mean, even going back to the Oklahoma loss, 3 turnovers.
And I think Auburn has to a certain extent as well.
He only had 2 penalties in that game if you're Alabama. And I'm pretty sure Auburn's one of the most penalized teams in the SEC. I could double check that. Hell, they have struggled staying on the line of scrimmage and not jumping off sides. So if there's ever a team to point to doing dumb things, I would point to Auburn first. But this game is at Auburn. So that should help. We'll see. I don't think Alabama is going to blow this game from a discipline standpoint. I think if they lose this game, they're just going to lose it.
Yeah, and we're going to make our picks on Wednesday. It's a huge picks, biggest prediction day of the year with these matchups we have. But I tell you, what a fantastic weekend of college football that we are going to get for rivalry.
Yeah.
I cannot remember the last time that so many of these big rivalry games had so much on the line. Look at Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
As another great example.
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M.
Michigan Buckeyes.
Michigan, Ohio State. It is fascinating. Hell, Virginia Tech means something with what's going on over there in the ACC. I'm super excited for it. I know you guys are as well. We're going to be covering it all weekend. Make sure, again, you're subscribed almost to that 200K mark. Whether you're an Auburn fan, whether you're an Alabama fan, if you're just a college football fan, we appreciate you being here. Like the chances of me not being fired up, ready to see the hate on display, we're going. Gone.